Family Kingdom family, what's up? What's up, everybody? It's Justin Michael Williams. I'm so excited, so grateful, so honored, so all the things to be here with all of you today. What an absolute gift we have today on our 49th session of the Kingdom. 49th session. We are almost at 1 year. And what a gift it is. You know, July 19th was our very first Kingdom, and here we are on June 20th. And what a gift it is for us to be here and to be together, creating this sacred space, this growing space that we are in together. And so I see you, Carrie. I see you, Susie, Cindy, Dion, Kalani, Loke, Tim, Brenda. Hey, everybody. I see the rest of you chiming in. So I'm here at, you all might recognize this background, those of y'all who've been here at the Kingdom many times, because I am here at actually Alonzo's house. Come here. I'm back in the United States. Alonzo's here.
Hey, hey.
He is going to sing something to us today after our prayer, if that's cool.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm so grateful for this magical human here. And we're in for a special session today, a very interactive session. So I'm going to guide us in. And hello, Franny from Germany. I'd love for everybody to type in where they're coming in from all over the world. And also, what would be so amazing is for you each, if this is your first time here at the Kingdom, to make sure you type in that it's your first time so our community can welcome you far and wide from all over the world. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm going to slip back into the slides and I'll call you back in just a minute. Cool? Okay. So here we are. Here we are. I'm so grateful to be here with you all. This is one of my favorite things to do in the whole universe. And, you know, for those of you who are new to the Kingdom, what we believe here at the Kingdom is that all beliefs are welcome here, all biologies are welcome here. We believe in the power of music to open our hearts and minds, and Alonzo is going to grace us with a song today. We believe that wisdom can come from many places. We believe that we're all connected to one another in this expanded definition of ourselves, and here at the Kingdom, we don't just honor or tolerate each other's differences, but we know that we are stronger because of those differences, and ultimately we rise together. And so together we see you. Hello, Tim in Maui, from Madison, Wisconsin, Vermont, Tumor, Wisconsin, Tulsa, Temecula, North Carolina, St. Louis, Hamburg, Germany. We got people from all over the world. London, UK. Hey, Kate. Oregon, Devon. Magical. And so every single one of our sessions, and unless somebody didn't type in first time, we might not have any first timers here today. So, hello, Rochester, New York, Beth. Y'all know how this works. So I ain't even gonna say it since we ain't got any first timers. Y'all know how this rolls. We go into teachings followed by actions, but today's session's actually gonna be a little bit different than all of that. So all of that being said, hello from Puerto Vallarta, Joseph. Let's pray. Alonzo, why don't you lead us in the prayer today?
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I'll try.
Come on, I'll join in on the second spot, but you got us? You know how we come in on
Justin
the prayer?
is putting me on the spot.
I am. I did not tell him I was going to do that, so we'll see what happens.
You say God, Spirit, Universe.
I'll do the beginning.
All right.
Close your eyes, hands over your heart. Drop into that space that you know, the sacred space, where it's just you talking to the divine. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing our brother Alonzo into our lives, into my life, into all of our lives. Thank you for the gift of his voice and for him gracing us with all these different dimensions of his voice as he guides us through today's prayer.
Thank you for leading us. Thank you for showing us the way. Thank you for reminding us that even when we get off track, things are always on time and on schedule. Thank you for constantly leading us toward healing. Thank you for keeping us and reminding us that no matter what happens, no matter what state the world is in, no matter what is going on in our personal lives, that we are okay. And we will always be okay. Always. As Justin always says, now is the time to take your personal prayer. 1 minute.
We'll be silent for about a minute, so just welcome in your own prayer. You have more?
No.
God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing our community together for 49 weeks and counting. Thank you for letting us return to Esalen for our 1-year anniversary. Thank you for bringing us into this space where we can know, as Alonzo said, that we are okay. And may we each get the exact message that we're meant to hear today. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Shalom, Satnam, Awen, Om. Thank you. Now Alonzo's going to sing us a song to welcome us into our space.
I'm just gonna do something quick, and it's a cappella. Lil Whitney.
We're getting Whitney today?
How about a little Whitney?
Oh my God. Okay, great.
I believe in you and me. No, actually, how about this Whitney song?
Oh wow, we're getting the switch up.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as a believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away our dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me and in me. All right, we'll leave it at
No, please keep going.
that. The greatest love of all is happening inside of me.
Oh my God.
I want to scream, bro.
Okay.
Hey, MT, love you.
Oh. Take a moment to just take that in like a prayer. That's how it felt for me. What a gift you are to this planet. Your voice
You're
is to
the
this
gift.
planet. That was so beautiful, Alonzo.
You are
Thank
the
you.
gift.
The
Love you
greatest
guys.
love of all. I'm going to call you back soon, so just get ready.
Okay.
The greatest love of all. Wow. Just take a second to let that resonate inside of you. And just feel the greatest love, the love that is awakening within you. The love that is happening inside of you, whether it's been bruised and battered or hurt or marred with distrust, skepticism. It always is blossoming open, like a blade of grass pressing through cement, constantly reaching for the light. The love is always there. No matter how much hurt, no matter how much pain, the love is always there, ready to press through when we say yes. So what is the love that is opening up inside of you? In what ways and toward what is love beckoning itself forward through and inside of you? In what ways is love looking to be in action through and within you? And how might we place our faith inside of that love, the greatest love of all, that's happening within you? What do you love so much that no amount of pain can ever take that love away? And just let it be there. Breathe into it. Let it fill you up and crack you open if it needs to. Like a coconut, just the juices are right there inside. The juice of life right there in your heart. And so here we are. Here we are. Thank you for that, Alonzo.
Thank you.
Hey, Trey. We see you here, Trey. It's so good to have you here. Everybody's saying Alonzo. Everybody is here. Whitney lives on in Alonzo. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, my favorite song. You got tears. Thank you, brother. All the things. Thank you guys for typing in the quotes, because sometimes I don't even know what is being said through me, as you know. And so I'm hearing it with you sometimes, and that was one of those moments. And so I appreciate you typing in those things. So Alonzo actually inspired me with what I'm going to do on today's session, because I haven't done this in a long time, and some of you were never here when I did this the last time, so this might be your first time. And hi, Sabine. And today's session is one of my favorite things to do, and it is on what I call the power of questions. So some of you might feel some of this being a little bit familiar, but you'll see what comes after this. And for those of you who it's familiar with, I want you to listen very closely to see what opens inside of you as I talk about this with you. So there are different kinds of questions that we can ask. And I think one of the sayings, and I say this inside of Stay Woke on page like 1 something, I don't remember anymore, is this whole concept that people say there's no such thing as a dumb question. Have you all heard that before? There's no such thing as a dumb question. There are lots of dumb questions. That's what I really believe. Truly, there are so many dumb questions. And oftentimes, if we ask those questions, we go based on the thing. I remember my grandmother always saying, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find. And so it's incredibly important then in our asking of questions that we're asking high quality questions. Hands up in the chat box if you remember me talking about high quality questions. And you can remember that one of the things that we do here at the Kingdom, for those of you who are new or haven't done this in a while, is if you hear me say something and you want to put your little amen hands up or any hands up, you put your hands up in the chat box like this, or you can put the number 1 a whole bunch of times. If you don't have the hand emojis and the ones are just putting our ones up, and this is how we'll continue to resonate with each other. I see you, Wendy. And so what's happening here is when we talk about questions and high quality questions, I've always really distinguished these in 2 different ways. So we have low quality questions and we have high quality questions. Low quality questions, usually, not always, and remember, none of these are like set in stone, but you can feel the energy of the question. So low quality questions usually begin with why. Not always, sometimes why. And high quality questions often begin with how. Sometimes what's in there, what I tend to see falls on like the low quality often. But really, more than it is the start of the question, it's about the content of the question and the quality of the question. And so when we look at high quality questions, the big difference is low quality questions. Even if you found the answer to them, those questions, the answers would only lead you to more excuses. The answers, even if you found them, would not lead you to a place of action or a place of, most importantly, being able to take responsibility for your life to move you in the direction that you want to go. Low quality questions don't allow you to do that. High quality questions, if you found the answer, the reason we kind of shy away from them sometimes is because when we get the answer to a high quality question, and thank you, Mary Teresa, page 150, when we ask a high quality question, then once we get the high quality question and we get that answered, then we have to do something. Then we have to point the finger back inside of the one thing that we can control, which is our life and the actions that we need to take. And so some examples of high quality and low quality questions, I'll just give you an example, is a low quality question. I'll just flip them back and forth. A low quality question could be, well, actually, Alonzo, give me a question about something. Give me a low quality question. You know this teaching. Give me a low quality question. I'm going to flip it.
Why don't I have a significant other?
Okay, so here's a big one that a lot of people have, okay? Alonzo's was, why don't I have a significant other? Why don't I? Okay. Now, if we flip that into a high quality question, the high quality question would say, how can I find a significant other who matches me and meets me exactly where I want to be met at this time? How can I meet a significant other that enhances my life, not distracts me from it? How can I, right? So, because if you found the answer to why you don't,
right,
what you got? You just got another reason to feel bad for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I don't because I'm so busy. I don't because I'm so focused on my business. I don't because XYZ, right? How can I? Now you have something to do. And the do may be around your level of being. I see Kalani has one. Why is the world so fucked up? That's just the way it is, right? We could say so many things. Because the president, because of this, because of that, because of whatever, because the government, because whatever we want to say, right? The economy, war. Then instead you can ask, how can I do something that could make this world a little less fucked up? How can I do something specific that could make this world a better place? Do you see the difference in the orientation of these questions and the answers that come out of it? Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. So what are you looking for? Because oftentimes when we are asking low quality questions, we're really looking for something that's just going to give us more excuses so that we can stay in the circle that we're in. So we don't have to get out of our comfort zone. So we don't have to get out of whatever the routine it is that we're in, that we're actually not really that happy in, but we're comfortably numb in or comfortable enough in. But I know that each one of you is here because you're wanting to break in to the next level and the next frontier of your own life. And so I see Magdalena has questions here. Magdalena says, Justin, you know my question, and I know your question is about world peace, Magdalena. I'm just going to guess. Is how can we change the platform from a militaristic, biased, for-profit system to a platform for peace upon which we can build our kingdoms? It is beautiful. And so the question, Magdalena, becomes in every moment, how can I do that now in this moment, not waiting for this perfect future to arise, right? Yep, this is beautiful. Jerry, you got it. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to give you all a moment to put your hands over your heart and close your eyes. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. And I want you to, don't even ask a question yet. Just think about an area of your own life. I want you to go inward towards your own life right now. Any area where you feel like you need a little additional support, guidance, clarity. It could be about your work, it could be about your finances, it can be about relationships, it can be about family, it can be about boundaries, it can be about creativity and art, it can be about your spiritual practices, it can be about your body, your self-love. Or it can just be about knowledge, something you want to learn more about as it relates to personal growth. And now I want you to formulate a low quality question in your mind as it relates to this domain in your life. And you might notice that whatever the low quality is one you may have been asking already over and over. And now once you have the low quality version, I want you to think of the high quality version and see if you can flip it in your mind. And once you have the high quality question, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Open your eyes. And here's what I'm going to do. And we'll talk a little bit while this is happening. I'm putting a link in the chat box. Hold on. I'm putting a link in the chat box. And the link is a link that's going to invite you to come on camera and ask me your question. Call me now. For your free reading. Maybe I'll do readings. I don't really know what's going to come up. But really, it can be a question about anything. If you have any question, but we're going to make it high quality, and I'm going to make you share a low quality and a high quality version. I'm not going to make you do anything, but I'm going to ask you to. And this is an opportunity for our kingdom to come on and be heard. And for us to ask the questions. And if you're somebody who right now is thinking, oh, I have a question, but I'm nervous, or I don't really know if this question is appropriate for everybody, or I don't really want to waste time, or there's something and I know I want to say it, but I'm not really sure if I should say it. You're the person who needs to be up here. And so all you have to do is, if you have a question, you just click on that link in the chat box. Okay, I see Allison is coming in. Hey, Allison, hang tight there. You're in the green room. This is perfect. You're good. You're perfect. You're here. Magdalena is joining in. Magdalena, you're in the green room. You're here. So hang tight. And Alonzo, you already know I'm about to call on you, right?
Okay, I'm down.
Okay, so I'm going to have Alonzo come here first. And then we're going to have Allison and then Magdalena and anybody else who has a question about anything you've been wanting to ask. This is questions, any question for Justin moment. Barbie is coming. Hello, Barbie. Barbie, you are in the green room too, so I'll invite all of you on in just a moment. And for now, and if anybody else wants to come up, it might be full. But as I remove people, you'll have more chances. We're going to spend about 20 or 30 minutes doing some Q&A.
It's so cool to see this side of it.
Oh, yeah, you're seeing the whole... It's a lot, right? You guys would have no idea what's all the stuff that's on my screen. There's so much happening. Yeah. So, okay. What is your question? Well, first, what is it about?
It is about...
Ground into your heart first.
Yeah. It's about freeing my mind.
Freeing your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I see Carrie just joined in too, so we'll get everybody on in a second. Okay, so freeing your mind.
Yes.
And
the low quality question is, why am I so hard on myself?
Okay. Do you guys feel the energy of that question, right? Why am I so hard on myself? So even if you got the answer to that, you might find some things to work with. But those would just lead you to more questions. Let's go to what the high quality version of that would be.
It would be, how can I allow my mind to accept me more freely?
Okay, so I want you guys to give me some edits to Alonzo's question. How can I'm actually going to bring some of you on right now. Okay, so we're going to add Allison, and I'm going to add a couple of you in here right now. So Susie, if you can still hear me, it only allows me to put a few people in at a time. So Susie, I will bring you back, okay? And then I'm going to also add Carrie here, and we're going to talk. Did you all hear? Here, Alonzo, get in here. Did you all hear Alonzo's question? Okay, so can you ask it again for everybody, the high quality version?
How can I allow my mind to accept me more freely?
Okay. What do you both feel about that question? Allison, you can go first.
I think it's a really good question, but I'm hearing double sound.
Hold on. Let me, Carrie, would you mind pushing mute on yourself, Carrie? Oh, no, I know what. Okay, so try now.
Okay, so I think it's a really good question, but it's a little bit, it's like it has two steps to it. So I'm trying to think how it could go in just one step. Like, so instead of how can I allow my mind, just like how can I accept myself fully or something like that.
Mm.
This is good, Allison. What do you think, Carrie?
What came up for me was how can I be curious about the why I'm so hard on myself when, I know it's easy for someone from an outsider's perspective to see the glamour and the incredibleness of you, Alonzo, and it's just how can I allow myself to see me how others see me?
I love these beautiful questions, these reframe. And let's see, let me add Magdalena here. So Magdalena.
When, I know it's easy for someone from an outsider's
Magdalena,
perspective.
you have to close out the other kingdom window so you don't have two happening at the same time.
Incredibleness of you, Alonzo, and it's just
I'm going to mute you while you're doing that.
allow.
Magdalena, when you get a second, find the other kingdom window where it's playing and close that out, and then I'll bring you back, okay? Okay, how do I move her out? Okay, let's see if this worked. Magdalena, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
But I think I'm muted.
No, you're good now. We got you. I unmuted you. Did you hear Alonzo's question?
I certainly did.
And what do you think about his
Very
question?
good question. Well, it's a great question. I think everybody that's trying for something bigger is aware of the gap and feels maybe inadequate and always wants to do more. So I think all of us here are pretty hard on ourselves. We have high standards.
How might you reframe his question? Or might you reframe his question?
Why am I so hard on myself?
The second one, if you can say it again, the high quality one. Is there any adjustments you would give?
Yeah, the second one was how can I allow myself to accept myself more freely?
I think that's a good way of saying it, but if you want me to make a little suggestion, how can I allow myself to feel wonderful as the divine grace flows through me?
Love that.
These are all really beautiful. So every single one of these is right. And because there's so many ways in, right? And it becomes for me when I'm doing these questions in my head, and I do this to myself all the time, and I'll tell you all, one of the tricks that I do is I actually will write it down and I'll draw like a little arrow and I'll say, what will the answer to this question give me? Because that's like, you almost want to trace backwards, right? Asking you shall receive. So what do I want to receive? Right? Like seeking you shall find. So what do I want to get from this question? And in the same way that I think about it with manifesting, I often work backwards in my questions especially when I'm asking them in like prayer or in meditation or keeping them down. So I'll give you a couple angles. So every single one of these is right. It just depends what you want to find. Well, really, so I'll just ask you, what is it that you want to find?
I want to find freedom, like mental freedom. And what's really the reason why it's been so like on my mind is because I've been reading that book.
Shauna?
Yeah.
It's an amazing book. Good Morning, I Love You by Shauna Shapiro. I'm going to have her on the Kingdom very soon, you all.
And
a friend of mine.
Things that I read recently, she was like, life is not a self life liberation.
Can you talk a little louder?
Yeah. And so for me, I've been asking myself, like, instead of constantly pursuing life, like what's wrong with me and how do I fix that? What do I do? And constantly trying to fix everything that's wrong with me. It's like, how do I be free from thinking that so much is wrong with me? You know?
So this is what I'll offer. Okay. And again, it's with no corrections to other things. It's another way. So oftentimes when we think about a low quality question and a high quality question, we oftentimes flip ourselves from shadow to light. We go from how can I stop being hard on myself to how can I be free? Right? Or like how can we actually change what's in the content of the question altogether and flip all the way over to how do I just be more good and more light.
Yeah.
And so, but that for me doesn't solve the question of what happens when you're hard on yourself. Right? And so like a question that you might ask, if you keep the focus on like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
The problem is I'm hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm hard on myself, and I get in my head and I get stuck and I beat myself up about these things. And that's gonna happen, right? Even if you see yourself as more light and more free, guess what? You're still gonna be hard on yourself and you're still gonna beat yourself up. Right? So, because we all do. It's the human condition. So my question is, how can I, or I'll give you, so this is where the rule kind of changes, right?
Okay.
So like, what are some specific tools that I can use the next time that I'm hard on myself that can break me through it and help me find what I'm supposed to learn from it, right? Because when we're being hard on ourselves, there's something inside of there that's like, that is needing healing, whether it's the little boy, whether it's there's so many things that it could be, right? Whether it's there's something trying to emerge, whether that's fear. So when I'm being hard on myself next, how can I do something that will help me move through that in a way that opens me up to greater freedom?
Yeah.
Right? So I just want you guys to be conscious of, we don't want to like spiritually bypass the hard stuff, right?
Yeah.
How can I be more free? How can I be more liberated? How can I be more joyful? But how can I go in to the shadow to actually find what I need to find there in a way that doesn't break me down, but breaks me through?
Ooh, breaks me down. Breaks me through.
Is that helpful?
Beautiful.
Magdalena, I love it.
I'm with you, Magdalena.
I am
right with you.
This is the work, right? And so just be careful when you're asking your questions, because we really do have this tendency to go, the way that I look at it is this, and all these things are good. Again, none of your questions or your adjustments were wrong. They're all great questions. But like Mary Teresa is just saying, like the spiritual bypassing is the equivalent of, I have an eating disorder. I don't currently have an eating disorder. I had an eating disorder. I'm recovered from an eating disorder. I would say recovered mostly. And no, mostly is a weak word. I'm very recovered from eating disorder, just to make sure that's very clear. But sometimes it's still in my mind, right? I have like the dysmorphia. But it was the equivalent of me having an eating disorder at a time, and then just somebody telling me to say, stand in the mirror and say, you're beautiful. Right? Or just looking in the mirror and saying, how can I see myself as more beautiful? Well, how's that going to help when I have my finger down my throat?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I actually need the support,
Yeah.
is when that moment is happening, you know? And so, anyway, hopefully this is helpful with questions.
So helpful.
Why don't you, do we want Alonzo to stay with us for the other questions, you guys? Yes? Okay, cool. We got a little family thing happening. And Susie, I promise I will get you in here. So let's start with Allison. Hello, Allison. And where are you coming in from?
I am in Waterloo, Ontario.
Perfect. And I'm actually going to mute the others just while you're talking so we have clear audio. So Magdalena, I'm going to mute you and I will unmute you when it's time. So Allison, talk to me about what's going on from Ontario.
Okay. Well, I've had a chance to think about this for a few minutes now, so I can give you my very low quality question and then one version of high quality. So the question I tend to beat myself up about a lot is, why am I not being an activist? Or like, why haven't I changed the world yet? And so I was thinking one way to reframe that could be, what is one thing I can do each day to make the world better? But I have to honestly say, I don't really like that question, so I would love some feedback.
So, okay, let's get this very clear again. So tell me what it is you're trying to find.
I'm trying to find out how to be effective in the world and actually change it to be more of the world that I want it to be, not just by being nice to my next door neighbor, but by actually making changes that are bigger than that.
Bigger. And by bigger, what is
I'm already nice to my next door neighbor.
What happens with the bigness? What is it about the bigness you're looking for?
I guess because I get stuck by the fact that everything seems so systemic, and I feel powerless.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so are you looking for like a part of you, or like a wider spread impact? Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
And that would feel more fulfilling to you than like one-on-one moments happening.
Yeah, 'cause I have lots of those already. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It sounds like you and Magdalena are on the same page here. Magdalena, I'm going to unmute you. How are you feeling about this?
Thrilled, you know. I got some ideas that you might like. I can hardly wait to share.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Let's start sharing.
Right now? Me?
Sure. This is the moment.
All right. Okay. Well, the last time you allowed me the microphone, I was still in meltdown. And miracles had already happened, I think, in my life since I met you. My whole place, everything. But I've come to believe that it's not so crazy, world peace. It's not crazy, it's necessary. And so the idea, um, I know I only have a few minutes, so maybe it would be helpful just to blurt out what the project is. Can I do that, Justin?
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's do this, Magdalena. Let me finish up and hone in on Allison's question, and then we're gonna come back to you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought you were inviting me. Now I was confused because I
you're
didn't think
okay.
we were
Don't worry.
finished, Allison.
Yep.
Okay, Allison, I've been an activist all my life, and what we do is never enough. I thought once I started the prison project, it took 7 years to get inside the prison. Then, we'd start to really see major change. But, change happens slowly, and there's always more projects. So it's nothing is ever enough. We have to, yes. I mean, I'm with you that the small things every day that happen, if I can make one person smile in a day, I feel that's good because I'm very isolated, and where I live, there's still a lot of fear of contagion, so people are not interacting freely, and you don't, now isn't the time to be going around giving people healing massages, which is what I do normally in life. So I've found other little ways to get in there and make a difference, and I think that those things are not insignificant. But yes, there is something bigger that we all can do, and
Well, you know
and
what I'm
and
loving, Magdalena, and I'm going to just jump in for a second here, is
please,
the piece of Allison's question that I really want to honor is, and I'm muting you, Magdalena, just because we're getting a little feedback. So the piece that I really want to honor in Allison's question is there's a desire for a wider spread, right? And so, Allison, when you really hone in on that piece of it, because am I hearing that that's the real desire, right? Because you said there's many individual things, but you're wanting a wider impact, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not isolated at all. I'm very grateful for that. But I have lots of good one-on-one interactions already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So this is where, and this is a level up for you, and I'll give
Yeah.
you like maybe just because this is what I'm hearing in my head, but like I'll just give it to you because I think the question is very simple of like, how do I make a wider spread impact beyond just me and one individual?
Yeah.
And if you ask that very specifically, like it almost goes, there's many ways, but one way that's coming to me is you could possibly teach people about how to do what you do.
Hmm.
Because literally, like, even with the liberation experience and the work that I'm doing with that project with Shelly and the 40-day program and all of it, if I'm the only one teaching it, it's like, it doesn't matter how many, it doesn't matter if I get as big as Oprah. Like, it's still insignificant in terms of the impact that it could make in the world at large. But if I am empowering other people to lead from the heart space that I have learned over all these years and the place that you've learned over all your years, if you're empowering other people to lead from that space, maybe taking on a few mentors or something like this and empowering them with actions, now your ripple just goes every day. Instead of 10 people, it's 50. And then it grows from there, right? And then they're mentoring people. So it doesn't even have to be, it could be that you, if you want to do it very officially and start an online thing and train people, or start a group in your city, or as much as taking on a handful of mentors. These are a few people that I see in the community who are doing amazing work. And I just want to meet with them once a month and support them and share my stories with them and make sure that they have all the support that they need, give them guidance and advice once a month, once a week, talk to them, whatever it is. Now the ripple is spreading, and you can take on as many of those as possible as you need. And I think some more ideas will come from that space. That's just one idea. There's many that can come inside of that question, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's helpful, but I wanted to offer that up to you.
It's definitely helpful, yeah. And you know, I can sort of see little places where that could start to have. Gives me a lot to think about anyway. I mean, in a good way. So yeah.
Beautiful. I think you're right on track in the question. And I think what I'll give you the opportunity to just give yourself permission to do. I'm not giving yourself the opportunity to give yourself permission. You can always give yourself permission, but I will offer up the suggestion, which is when you have a little idea, because when you ask the question, we often will get an answer, and then we'll go, I'm not sure if that's the answer.
Yep. I always do.
I'm not sure if that's the right answer. Let me just wait and see if I get another answer. Is that the answer? I wonder if that's the answer. Oh, I don't know. This doesn't feel like the answer. You know, we kind of go in circles. When you get a little answer, try it. It's like a taste test. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, I actually like that. Let's have some more. You know, and so this is kind of the exploring versus thinking whatever the answer is that comes, like, has to be the final life decision of all time. It's like, take a little bite. You know, like when I started the kingdom, I did not, like, I said no. My team was like, how long do you want to do this? When do you, maybe it's 10 weeks or maybe it's this. I said, I don't know. I've never done this. We're going to try it. I'm committing for a month and let's see what happens. That's literally where I was when I started the kingdom. I was like, I'm going to commit till I leave Esalen. Let's see what happens. You know, and like here we are a year later, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And so I didn't know. I just knew that I had the idea. I said, how can I, my question with the kingdom really at Esalen was this: how can I create something that with all the negative shit happening in the world right now, how can I create something that's a space of positivity and coming together that brings people together across divides and allows people who are spiritual but not necessarily subscribed to a religion a space to just come together and be and pray and da-da. And then boosh, it just came. And I even thought, who the hell am I to start a church? Like, you know what I mean? It's not really a church, but I'm like, I remember I was in the shower at Esalen and I was like, no, you know? And so I came, and the kingdom was the name that came to me. I skirted around it. It was going to be called Power Sundays for a long time. And all my original documents, it was Power Sundays, Power Sundays, Power Sundays. And it was me being afraid to go, no, this is a thing. Yeah. We're having you know, and it was like, so I said, okay, I'm going to try it. And I could change the name if I don't want to. And this and that. And then we just find our way, you know, and this is the way that it happens. If I would have tried to make the whole business plan for the kingdom, this would still be a plan. And we would not be here together right now. Alonzo, you feeling it? I see him rolling his eyes. So I just want to give that to you all as you're going on. Like, don't think about it too much. Just try it. Take a taste test and see what happens. Cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Allison. Anything else?
Not for now.
Okay, cool. Do you want to hang around on the screen? Yeah. Okay, cool. We're gonna hang. Okay, Magdalena, I'm coming back to you now, and then we're gonna go to Carrie and Susie. I think we might not have time, but if we do, I'll bring you back for a goodbye. Okay, so Magdalena, talk to me about your question.
Well, the question is, why do people think that peace is so foolish? And why do I feel more heartbroken by people that say that, yeah, they do want it, but nobody's prepared to do anything? I've done some it was called the Jump for Peace, and it was on that little idea of every day just make a little jump for peace, and try to get other people to adopt that. But people seem to think that it's ridiculous, that it can never happen because there's so much evil and so many dangers. And
so I have a question. I'm going to interrupt you for a second just because I want to get to the heart of this. What is a high quality version to ask this?
How can we get the ball rolling? How can we come together across our big divides and our little divides, and to realize that peace is necessary?
Magdalena, can you close your eyes and put your hands over your heart for a second for me?
Mhm.
And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And you've heard me do incomplete sentences before, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do a few with you.
Can I open my eyes or keep them shut?
If you're okay keeping them shut for just a moment, I'd prefer that. But if you need to open them, you're welcome to.
I'm yours to suggest.
Okay, yeah, keep them closed for just a moment. Just drop into your heart.
Mm.
Mm. The peace within myself is
Available
especially
now.
even when
I'm provoked.
and what provokes me the most is
Other people's pain.
and what I want to offer them is
World peace.
and what I
This is
feel and what
where
I
it comes.
feel and what I feel about the people who think peace is not possible is
It's only not possible if you won't let it.
mm,
It's possible if we let it. It's in each of us.
mm-hmm.
It's in each of us.
And the reason why I imagine they think that it's not possible is
Because of the other people who are dangerous and not considering that they might be dangerous themselves.
my biggest fear is
That I will just die and the idea will continue. The idea will continue, but my biggest fear is that we won't make it. We won't make it, and soon it will be impossible even to talk this way because peace has always been a subversive idea.
and I want you to go back to that thought that you jumped away from, just to feel it in your heart, the thought of I might die
And well, the idea will go underground again for a long time.
but what I know to be true about this idea is
We're ready for it. We need it. It is possible if we want it and we are willing to work for it. It's just the only way that we can carry on as a species. It will solve so many of our problems that we
and
are
the
facing.
first step that I think I need to take right now is
Thank you for this opportunity.
and the first step that I might take to help expand world peace in each individual is
To get the kingdom, to get the snowball rolling by adopting the Camino World Peace Project. And what that means, can I say? Or
yeah,
are we
please tell
still
me.
in this
Of course,
little fun?
go for it.
Okay, we'll go for it. So the idea is
You can
is
open your
that we
eyes if
want.
you want to.
Okay, so let's declare world peace. That's the idea. And this is just the beginning. And world peace, some of you have heard me say this before, it entails um, vowing to do no more harm to the people, the planet, the plants, the animals, the minerals. And that's it. If we all can agree on that basic thing, then surely we can work out a new platform which is not riddled with bias, which is fresh and accommodates a few of the things that we love. And so instead of basing the system on profit, we have a system that's based on um, music, mindfulness, and permaculture. And so we start to reorganize, and we have to take it slowly. So peace, world peace, it's the first step. Um, and people can make their own peace project in support of the idea. And so the projects would start small. And the example I love to use is knitters. Knitters could start off just having a Camino um, mittens for peace and some sell mittens at a craft fair or something like that. And then it gets a little bit bigger and it's a Camino knit in for peace. And then it gets maybe a huge banner where the whole community is working on this banner of peace. And so if you're a surfer, you could have a surfing event. And if you're a doctor, you might want to take it from that area. Or if whatever your interest is, that's what your project would be. And this is a project, not a group. So we're not getting a group that's going to take over the world, but the idea of peace. So, I mean, right now, I'm still struggling to embody peace in my life. My meltdowns have gone from months down to 15 minutes. I can process it, I can see what's happening, and I can come back to center. I've been doing EYP. I don't know if any of you know about that. Justin, you might want to have somebody from the EYP
I've heard of it.
community.
I want to jump in
Yeah,
and talk about your project and peace for a second,
please.
Elena, just because we're short on time. And I,
Shoot,
first of
just
all,
ask some pertinent questions. That's maybe the best way.
say that again.
Ask some good questions, and that's maybe the best way.
No, and so here's the deal. I want to first like just honor your commitment. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm blown away and just in such recognition of your deep lifelong commitment to this path and to the cause. And we know, like I feel like everywhere you go, you are the spokesperson for world peace, and it's just so beautiful and magical. And I think I want to assure you that it's really interesting. So there's a couple things that I want to offer you here to dig into. So number one is pretty soon our team has been working on this a lot, and it's going to be happening soon. I don't want to give you all an exact date because we're really figuring out all the details to make sure we can really hold it properly. But we're working on an actual community platform where everybody gets to go in, and we like people who might teach, like Mary Teresa teaches Qigong, or people have different projects that we're working on, and people can join different boards and support different causes, and we can have different things happening for the community to engage with one another. And it's not going to be a Facebook group because I hate those, but like something like a lot more meaningful, that we can actually get in, and I'll even do some master classes in there, and people can teach and have people sign up for their classes and really feel the community growing. And I think you have a total space there where there are a lot of people, and you guys can type into the chat box if there's anybody else who's here who's on the mission to support this Camino project with world peace, because I know so many of us believe in the exact values that you're saying, and you're not alone, and it's not as wild as you think. And I think the second thing is, it's really interesting. So I'm going into just a little bit of some of the things that came up in your conversation, and I just want you to take these with you and let them unfold, okay? So the first one is, I find it really fascinating. I don't know about you all, the focus on how many people don't think world peace is possible in your conversation. I would say it's half of what you talk about. Half of what I heard from you is how much I love world peace and I want it, and half of it is how all these people think it's not possible, and how the idea is going to die, and how it's so fringe, and how it's so this. And the amount of energy I just feel in your life force that's going towards that is taking away from what could be going towards what's possible. Because in my mind, and I think it's just generationally things that have changed, this concept is not fringe at all to me. Like it's not even, doesn't even remotely fringe, and it's something that's like in massive conversation. Like Marianne Williamson hosts some huge event in LA about peace, and Michael Franti has Peace to the People concert. That's a World Peace Day. And like, I see so much. And so I think if we focus the energy, we always want to focus on what we want instead of what we don't want. And so if we're focusing too much energy on the people who don't believe in world peace, or the people who think it's fringe, then we're using that laser focus of pointing out those people where we could be pointing out people who could be on our team. And so I just want you to, if you even take 30% of that energy and move it over, I think we're going to see a massive movement. And then the third thing, and I hope this is helpful for all of you in all of your own ideas that you're having. And this is why we're bringing this up, because we all have visions and ideas that we want for our lives and for the world, and then we focus so much of our energy on the part of it that we don't want. And I remember one time I was talking to, okay, so I'll give you all just a very clear example of how this shows up. So I was talking years ago to one of my, this is like early days when I was learning how to write a vision. And I was talking to the coach that I was working with, this was like maybe 10 years ago, about a partner. And she's like, so what do you want in a partner? And I was like, well, I don't want somebody who does this, and I don't want somebody who posts like this on Instagram, and I don't want somebody who does this, right? I don't want somebody who hasn't worked on themselves. I don't want it. So I was like, I know everything I don't want. She goes, okay, great. So you know everything you don't want. Wow, that's a lot of precision and focus on what you don't want.
Yeah.
What do you want? And I was like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I actually don't know. And so she's like, now use all that focus that you went into, like harnessing all the things you don't want into what you want. And then let's get specific. And that was when I started learning how to write a vision, and why when I teach visioning, I talk about, don't talk about, that's why I take you guys into the future. You're in your vision. Your life is happening so that you can start to experience what it is that you want. So many of us do this in many ways in our life. So I want you all to watch that. The third thing is, and this is my belief about world peace and peace in general, and you mirrored it to us so vulnerably and beautifully, Magdalena, is that I don't think peace is a goal. I think peace is a condition. Peace is like the weather. Peace is like the weather, right? And so that's how I feel about peace and world peace. Is I believe that we can get the weather to be in a greater state of peace, hopefully more frequently, but it's going to be moving and adjusting in the same way that I found it. So I hope you can see this in yourself of like, I want world peace and I want everybody to feel world peace. But for the people who provoke me, I have trouble feeling peace. Right? Did you catch that, Magdalena, in your
Well, yeah.
So it's good. I'm not criticizing you. What I'm saying is that this is just something to recognize in all of us, because for some of us, the things that we're saying are provoking them. And so what do we have here, right? So how can we serve in a way that allows the environment to be more peaceful and the condition of peace to arise more frequently? And what does that actually take? So these are all things that just arose in me as you were speaking, and I hope they're helpful to you in some way. How do you feel hearing all of those things? I see your hand over your neck.
It's sort of heart, neck, yes. I think that you had, yes, definitely. I can see that drop the focus on the negative, but it's still so hard to. I see people, allies all over the place, but I don't often get a chance to connect with them. And I feel that once there's projects, peace projects all over the world, and everybody's got one going, that will create the conditions that you say of war peace, and concerts, because that obviously a Camino concert for peace will attract more people, I guess, than the Camino knitters for peace. But I'm just inviting everybody here. I mean, that's a wonderful idea, what you had.
So here's what I want you to do, Magdalena. This is my assignment to you, okay? And I'm going to check in on you in 10 days. I want you to research online 20 people who are actively doing work right now committed to world peace that you don't know. 20 people you don't know.
Justin, I got the list. I've written letters. The letters, you're one of the few people that's responded. That's why I love you so much, and that's why I'm so devoted to you, is you have taken me seriously from the beginning. And you're the person that got me out of my depression and my self-absorbed moroseness. But I've been doing, I'm trying to embody peace. I'm working with a man named Paul Linden. Do you know him?
Yeah, I've heard of Paul.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm reaching out.
Well, you're doing powerful work. So here's what I want you to do. Even still, 20 more people.
Okay. 20 more people. All right.
Okay, 20 more.
Okay. All
and
right,
maybe don't go for the big. Go for the knitters.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's go from there. I want to move on to Carrie before we run out of time.
Sure. It's wonderful to see Carrie. And,
yes.
And, like really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Magdalena. We're with you, and you'll have the world peace space inside of the community when it happens. So you'll be in the loop.
All right.
Yay. All right, Carrie. So talk to us, love. Where are you coming in from again, Carrie? I always ask you this.
Yeah, I live in Vermont.
Yes,
in
I know this. Okay.
South Burlington, Vermont. And I just want to say I'm really happy that you chose Kingdom and not Power Sunday, because Power Sunday family just doesn't quite roll off the tongue like Kingdom
No.
family. So,
Yeah.
so my low quality and high quality question, whenever I'm trying to create change inside of myself, I feel like it's a huge struggle to continue to engage with others. Like I feel like I have to do it in this silo, or I have to do it in this bubble. And a specific example is I come from a lovely family, but the family that I was raised with has a bit of judgment as kind of like uh, a way of kind of interacting with the world. And I have kind of pulled away from my family for many years and tried to parse that out and use compassion and curiosity. And yet when I engage in relationships with, I have 4 sisters, with my sisters, I feel like it kind of sucks me back in, and I feel the dynamic is really hard for me to change. And so my low quality question was, why can't I remain this evolving person when I'm engaging with my family or others that kind of, I feel like I feel weak, that I get sucked back in. And so my high quality question was, how can I remain strong in my convictions and my ways of wanting to show up in the world as someone who is compassionate and curious, instead of slipping into judgment, which is very easy for me to do.
Yes. What do you think?
Me too.
What do you think? Talk.
I think that it kind of goes with what I was saying earlier too. It's just like that being too hard type of thing. And I really think that it's one of those things that for me personally, I always have to keep reminding myself that what's happening is like meant to happen. Like it's a part of the whole plan, and it's not something that has me like off track, or that needs to be fixed, or that it's like I'm right on time. And as long as I'm taking these baby steps to do the work that I'm doing, I am I'm doing something. Another example that she used in that book was, she was saying like, if we were to put a bucket under a dripping fountain or a dripping faucet, you know, it might take a long time for it to fill up, but the bucket would eventually be overflowing with water. And so for me, I'm like appreciating the drops and the baby steps that still do the work, you know what I mean? Opposed to just putting all this pressure on myself.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is beautiful. I love it. I think so many of us have. So, hands up in the chat box and on the screen if you have family members or friends who may have very different views than you and who make you sometimes fall back into your old patterns. So, everybody, right? And so, let me make sure I'm understand. Well, I understand your question. So, here's what just came. I'm just gonna like give it to you because you've been in the community with us for a long time, Carrie. Is how can I offer my sisters or my family the exact same thing I'm wishing they would offer me?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I mean, it's just like a level of, and I think, and I know that you're offering it way probably already in a deep way, but I mean, really, truly, really, really, truly, like accepting them and not needing to prove anything to them, not needing to change for them, and not needing them to accept you because you accept them for where they are in their level of evolution for how they are right now. And that's where the intimacy and the connection can show up, which is where the change actually happens, right? And so I don't know if this is resonating for you at all right now. But I think the piece of the puzzle that is always really big when we get into that triggered state, or when we fall back into those old ways, or I think the words you might have used were, I don't remember the words that you used, but tell me if this was the sense that I got of like, when you get in front of them, you end up not fully stepping into the version of yourself that you know yourself to be, and doing the growth and the work on yourself that you know that you want to do, because you're afraid of their judgment or their. Is that accurate? Can you correct me if I'm
Yeah, and I think part of it is, I think I'm worried that, sorry, a plane's going
You're fine.
overhead.
It's not that loud. Yeah.
Okay, that they see, like, when I try to approach with compassion or curiosity instead of like the agreement and the gossipy judgment, I feel like they think I'm holier than thou. Like, I
Yeah.
come across like, oh, Carrie's just this like guru yogi, like, I'm sorry, and that, see, this voice comes out in me, like I'm imitating them, which is
Yeah.
not nice. And oh, she thinks she's all that because she doesn't do this and doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what? Some of that might just still be there. And this is the piece. So where we go, we go a lot of places, right? And there may be some part of you, and you have to really watch this, right? Because I have to watch this in myself, that when they're gossiping, you may want to lean in with something compassionate to like try to break that up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly what I
right?
I mean,
like,
my daughter overheard me do this exact thing.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
let me say the compassionate thing because I want to break this up. Blah, 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 blah. So it's really, there's this, let me insert this thing in here to break up this space. So the intention really isn't just to be compassionate. The intention is to prove a point. The intention is to be able to be you in front of them and have them accept you. And then it's a mess, right? Because the intention ultimately underneath in the shadow, the underlying intention is not actually about the compassion.
Yeah.
The intention is about them doing something wrong and you wishing they would see a different perspective. Which is, so again, I'm not saying that that's a wrong intention. I'm saying we have to watch both, right? And we have to hold space for both. It's like people who say, like, oh, this is the one thing, it's happening in the social justice space a lot. Like Patrisse Cullors got, like, she literally was buying a house and had to go to a different house because people were saying, how come she's buying this $1 million house from Black Lives Matter? It's like, they're allowed to make money. Like, it could be okay that one of her intentions is to make money in her work. Yeah. And she can hold that intention with this. But when this intention of money takes over and is really the driver, now we have a problem, right? So I think that it's not creating this either or, it's the both and. And so for you to just really watch, and when you have that compassion or you have that thing come up, where you want to actually put the compassion is with them. You want to put the compassion to your sisters. If that's really the intention, right? And like, you could imagine that if the compassion was there like that, how differently your comment might come out about the topic if there was also compassion held for them at the same time.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
True. Yes,
so it's like
100%.
The way that you deliver the comment will shift if the compassion for them is held together. And now there's a feeling, it could be anything. It could be, gosh, it really is hurting me to see you all speaking this way, because I know that we're like so much da-da-da-da than that. And like because what I'm seeing is this, and I know you guys might think that I feel like I'm better than da-da-da-da-da, but that's really not, like it could come out so differently than, well, whatever fluffy thing that we say that we want them to see it as love and light. And they're like, girl, fuck love and light. She's a bitch. Do you know what I mean? Like my whole, I get it. Cause I have this family, right? I have this family. So, so I understand, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, my family will do things like that. Like anyway, we get it. And I think many of us get that. So,
and that's why I say the compassion for ourselves is necessary too.
Yeah.
Because while I'm having compassion for my family, when they say those things, I will literally be like, maybe I do think I'm better. you know? And that's what I mean, like
Yes.
being hard on myself.
Because you do think you're better,
right, I'm doing all this work.
right?
That's what I mean.
Right,
I'm
no,
doing
I
all of this
know.
work. I hope that I am better than I was when I left.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And yeah, better is like the tricky word. It's like kinder, or you know,
Yeah.
open, like more spacious, like not so constricted or tight. You
Right.
know, like
And
so
go ahead,
just
Carrie. I'm
flipping
sorry.
just not using the word better, because that's where I feel like that hierarchical judgment piece just hits me in the chest. So it's like I'm kinder, or I'm more spacious, because I know when I feel tight and constricted, is judgment is like sitting right with me.
Yeah.
Love that.
Do you know what
That's
I mean?
it. And so let's pull out all those words. Let's pull out more kind, kinder. Let's pull out any comparison. Let's just say I am kind.
Period.
That's
Yes.
it. Right? Like
Yep.
I'm kind. I am kind. And so if you come from that place, it's not I'm kinder. Do you see how instantly that changes it? So like okay, so I'm kind. So now even in this situation, am I kind? Maybe you're not that kind. Do you know what I mean? Like in this situation, like compared to the thing. So it's just really, it's so important to just look at these elements and like pull out that, because what it is, yeah, sure, we can look at it as hierarchies in, so like the way that I look at it as, the way that I like to think of it is a thermometer. So like 80 degrees, and this is for people, you know, that work in Fahrenheit. So like 80 degrees is higher than 75. Sure.
Okay.
But like if you put 75 and 80 together, do they compete with each other in any significant way? One is hotter, one has more energy, one has whatever, but it's like they're just different stages of evolution in the process of temperature and heat. And so like when I look at people and where they are in their stage of evolution, listen, I'm not perfect. I just had I was just at Disneyland with my family for 4 days. So I'm like, you know, like so I'm like right there. And so like, but at the same time, what we have to look at is this person is just in a different temperature. They're just in a different stage. They're just at a different frequency than I am. That's it.
That really helps.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not they're more this, they're less this, they're kind. It's I am this, and this is the frequency that they're at, and that's it. Period. And then all the judgments that we throw on top of it are totally stories based upon our own perspective that's super subjective and our own personal opinion, right? Because they think you're holier than thou, you think that they're and their friends will probably agree with them, and your friends will agree with you, and we at the kingdom will probably agree with you, and so who's right? Right? But what is true is this is where they are, this is where you are, and so how do you show up in the situation? So this is the work, right? So this is a beautiful thing. We can all pull out the I'm more this, I'm kinder, I'm softer, I'm more spiritual, to I am. That I am. I think this is a perfect place to end, yeah?
Thank you.
So good.
What a session. I wasn't expecting any of this. I love these. This is just fun. And we're going to be doing, in the community thing that we're building, we're going to be doing these kind of sessions frequently, probably like once a month, where we just bring the community together and do like live coaching and questions like this, because I think you can all feel how much each individual question actually totally relates to the bigger picture. I'm sure each of you got something out of each other's. And everybody who's still, I mean, you'll see the chat boxes, like, you know, people are having their moment in here. So, all right. I think this is a moment to close out with a prayer. So why don't I just keep you all on the screen for that? Does that feel okay for you? Yeah? Okay. So hands over the heart, and keep yourself unmuted because the birds are so beautiful in the background.
Okay.
So here we are. And before we go to the prayer, actually, I'd love for everybody to come in with their golden nugget. What is the one main takeaway that you want to take away from today's session? What is your main takeaway? So many things we learned today. From learning how to make a bigger impact, to changing our questions, to focusing on what we want versus what we don't want, to comparison, conversation and beyond. We had beautiful words from Alonzo today, and all of your words in the chat box. So what is your one main takeaway from today's session? Take a deep breath in and out. And everybody who is in the chat, type your takeaway in. And I would love for Allison for you, if you'd be comfortable sharing your takeaway out loud with us.
If I have an idea, try it.
There we go. Beautiful. How about you, Carrie?
I am.
I am. How about you, Magdalena? I'll unmute you. Hold on one second.
Well, when you get a little clue, go for it.
When you get a little clue, go for it. Look at all the beautiful takeaways. And then all of you in the chat box. No one is right. It just is. How can I show up from where I am? Accepting I am. Jerry said, and to think I expected a Father's Day session. It is. Hold on. I will give us a happy Father's Day moment. Love, love. We are perfect just as we are. I'm not better. I'm just at a different temperature. I am kind, not more kind. Great. Stop comparing yourself to others. I am worthy. We'll keep it coming in, everybody. And yes, to all the fathers in all of their forms, we wish a very happy Father's Day. I feel, I feel it's so interesting. I feel so intrigued by like Father's Day and Mother's Day and these things. There's so many versions of those in our lives and inside of our own selves, right? And so like the actual familial fathers and mothers that we have, and the people who show up in that space for us beyond space and time, and then how we show up for ourselves in that way. Like I'm doing so much shadow work where I'm like being the father to myself that I wish that I had, and so being that father to the child in me, and then all of the ways and all the fathers who have passed on. And I want you to know, because I know many of you did this inside of your videos, the Believe video, I literally, as of yesterday, is done. And so I know many of you submitted photos. And so that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks. We're just getting the release plan all together. So I'm very excited. We got 133 submissions of photos, which is so amazing for you guys to see. So happy Father's Day to all. And let's actually officially close with our prayer, which Alonzo will lead us through.
Love you. Thank you. Thank you for the session. Thank you that we are constantly reminded that we have so much more in common than we think. Thank you for all of our journeys coming together to help us understand our own issues, so that every step of the way we can look at our neighbors, at our friends, at our community, and see answers to our own lives. Thank you, Justin, for being, this is hilarious, our spiritual father.
Oh!
And
okay.
We thank you.
Thank you, Kingdom. Thank you, community. We rise together. Alonzo, why don't you try to close out our Ashe Aho? Let's see what you can do.
Yo, no.
Just do a couple.
I don't know, like three.
Give them the ones you got.
Ashe, Aha, Shalom, Om, Awin, something, something, something.
You can't forget Amen.
Amen.
Here we are. Amen. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Shalom, Satnam, Awen, Om. All of the above. Thank you. Thank you to our incredible guests for being vulnerable today. And thank you all for being here. Next Sunday, actually, I'm not 100% sure where I'll be coming from next Sunday, but very soon I'll be coming from Esalen. I'm going to be at Esalen for the entire month of July. And several of you are coming for our workshop that's happening July 23rd. There's still a few spaces available. There are actually still plenty of spaces available for that. So if anybody's interested in coming to Esalen anytime in the month of July, I'm actually the teacher in residence for the whole month. And we are having a big workshop the weekend of July 23rd. So if Esalen's calling you in Big Sur in July, I'd love to see you. But most importantly, Kingdom family, I love you. And we'll keep going along this path together. We'll see what's next. Mwah. We got lots of fun things to come. I love you all. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.